Other news, a new bill in the state Senate would change how counties can raise occupational license taxes.
The lead sponsor says the legislation is in response to Fayette County Public Schools' attempt to raise their OLT to address a $16 million budget deficit last year. Community members felt the board was trying to slip the tax increase in under the public's noses, something the district has denied.
Tonight, WKYT's Samantha Valentino sits down with Senate Bill 67's lead sponsor to learn more about the changes it would make if it passes. She has our top story at 6 and continues our coverage of the 2026 legislative session.
It's something WKYT has covered extensively.
Tonight, the Fayette County Board of Education voted to approve raising the occupational licensing tax.
The OLT was going to be their get out of jail free card.
Instead of going to the community yet again asking for more money, they need to look internally and find where can we find revenue expenses to reduce.
In May, the Fayette County School Board voted to raise the occupational license tax, a fee imposed upon businesses and employees who live and work within the county. The district didn't provide 1 week's public notice ahead of the vote as required by state law. WKYT questioned the vote's legality, and Senator Amanda Mays Bledsoe brought the question to Attorney General Russell Coleman. He deemed it unlawful and void, citing our report in his opinion.
Well, people were very frustrated. I think they were very disappointed. They felt very much a lack of transparency, fair or not. It definitely felt that way.
Now, in a move she says would increase accountability and transparency, Senator Amanda Mays Bledsoe, along with several other lawmakers, has filed a bill that would prevent a similar attempt to raise the OLT.
I think it was very important to provide some statutory changes that take it off the table.
Senate Bill 76 would make it so only counties with a population of more than 500,000 can have their fiscal courts and school boards impose occupational license fees and taxes. Fayette County's population is just over 300,000.
Well, I hope people in Fayette County feel heard. And I think that's really important, especially when we are responsible for 50% of the state's budget goes towards educational endeavors. And so this is very much a response to them, that they feel like hopefully we're representing them well and providing some accountability for the taxpayers in Fayette County.
Senator Bledsoe says the Fayette County majority delegation feels strongly about the bill. Many of them have already signed on as sponsors. In Frankfort, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Now, we have reached out to Fayette County Public Schools for comment on Senate Bill 76. They have not responded to our request.